Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Hocus Pocus 2. It is the last day of the month. It's premiered just a few hours ago. It's now after 2 a.m. I got a little late start on it. I was going to watch it anyway, so hey, let's make it part of the show. Let's make it part of the series. It's one of the few times I select things for myself, although it seems to happen more and more often with so much new stuff being added to Disney Plus that I'm going to watch anyway. So I choose to watch it on the premiere day, like I did with Andor or She-Hulk or anything else that's come before that. That sounds like a good time. That doesn't mean other stuff isn't good. It's just I can't do everything. I can't choose everything. The whole randomization part of this is what makes it fun for me. I don't know what's going to come up next. And in fact, at the very end of this episode, because we're finishing the month and finishing the quarter, that means I'm resetting the list with just barely 554 items left on Disney Plus. So I'll randomly pick from something from 1 to 554 on this little app I have, and it'll correspond to something on my list. In case you're new to this whole thing, and maybe this is your first episode, I have no idea, but I'm well over 1,050 some episodes, I think, or yeah, something like that. 1,030. 50, yeah. Anyway, and it corresponds to a number on the list, and whatever it shows up, I watch it, assuming that it fits within the rules, and it's still on Disney Plus. I've had to take a lot of stuff off of my list for this new quarter because it's not there anymore. Like the Garfield movies aren't there anymore. I double checked on hopefully everything that. But we got a whole. These are basically everything that's left that that we haven't watched yet since the very beginning of Disney Plus, almost 3 years ago now, and everything that was added in the last 3 months. So it's going to be a whole new list by the time I'm done with it. But I'm going to talk to you about Hocus Pocus 2 first right now. And yes, the witches are back. This is it's not an accidental reference. That's not me being clever. That's actually a song the Sanderson sisters perform on stage in the movie. Yes, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but you knew they were going to do a song at some point. They also reprise it at the very end over the credits in the studio. So yeah, have a little fun. Apparently, Sarah Jessica Parker can still do cartwheels unless they got a stunt woman for her. I don't know, but she seems to be very limber, and she does more flipping around than singing. Leave that to Bette Midler, of course. And, of course, Kathy Najimy is back as well as her other sister. So it's Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and Bette Midler as the Sanderson sisters back again 29 years. 29 years after the original. And just like the original, of course, like I said, they have to do a pop song. They love the attention. They love to be on stage. They love to sing. And it's inevitable. So, yeah. You get to see them perform, and again, this is the whole concept behind this. It has a nice horror, sinister horror root to it, but it's never taken too seriously. There's nothing like if you had a little kid watching with you, there's nothing really scary. I wouldn't say it's good for 3 or 4-year-olds, but maybe an 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9, they would totally get a kick out of this. It's fun. The witches are just goofy and silly. They're threatening. They talk about eating children, but they never go through with it. And it's just, most of the time, it's them. It seems like the 3 women had pretty good times riffing off each other. Yes, there was a script, but I think a lot of the time, some of their stuff that kind of came up on their own. I imagine. I don't know, but it feels like that. So it's kind of great that it seems like they're just back in the swing of things. They're having a good time, and yeah. So it's good. In this modern era, they run into first of all we get to see their. I'm not going to spoil everything. Just by the way, I'm not just right now. I'm not going to spoil everything, but I'm going to give you the structure. We get to see a little bit of their origin. We get to see what it was like 400 years ago when they were kids, when they were teenagers, and you get to see one, the persecution they undertook, but also they were kind of jerks. They were pretty just awful girls for the most part, but they received some religious persecution in the form of Tony Hale, who Tony Hale, you know him from Arrested Development and VIP and so many other things. He's been in so many things. You'll recognize his voice if you don't recognize his face. But he is the preacher in this, but he's also in the modern times when they bring it into the modern times. He is also plays that preacher's heir in Salem, the mayor of the town. So he becomes a certain focus of these vengeful sisters. Of course, along the way, the book has to get involved. Billy Butcher happens to get involved as well, and of course, Doug Jones is back in that role as well. You'll know him as Saru in Star Trek Discovery, and everything Guillermo del Toro has done, and he's Silver Surfer. He's just done a billion things. He is this tall, lanky dude that, yeah, you never understand just how tall and thin this man is until you stand next to him. And I have a number of times, and it is unsettling, but he's a wonderful guy. And he gets to be Billy Butcher again in this, the living dead guy that is, well, when last we saw him, he was being put back in the ground back in 1993. So, yeah, so this is, we get to see their return. And why do they return? Well, they play off the same thing that it seems inappropriate to talk about this kind of thing. Like, it has to be to bring them back. The black flame candle has to be lit by a virgin on Halloween or something. It's for one night, and to bring them back for one night so they can sow chaos and possibly maybe change their fate. This whole virgin thing is really kind of creepy, outdated, and so you have to deal with these uncomfortable questions. There's uncomfortable questions, and it's all, yes, the whole concept of virginity and everything else is created by the patriarchy in order to control women, blah blah blah. Yeah, in order to determine their value, in order to sell them or trade them for land. So that's just the way it is. It's always been that way for centuries until hopefully modern day, and we still hold on to that as a marker for things, whether it's male or female. But yeah, to choose somebody's worth or determine our own self-worth. So yeah, that's a neat little uncomfortable moment for a number of the characters, at least, to deal with that. What we also have in this, I don't want to forget to mention, I can't remember his name, Sam Richardson. He was also in VIP. Why did I call it VIP? Veep with Tony Hale. He's also the kind of actor who's been in a zillion things. I heard he did a voice for a show that I watched recently. I can't think of what it is, but Sam Richardson, once you see him, you'll be like, I've seen him in a billion things. He's newer than some of the other actors, but he's the kind of guy that I think they just hire because he's just so funny, and he's fantastic. So yeah, we get all these actors, all these characters, old and new, joining the cast, and all sorts of crazy, silly, funny, spooky chaos. But at the center of all this is three girls, sisters of sorts, but best friends, really. They're not related in any way. Played by Whitney Peak, Belissa Escobedo, and Lilla Buckingham. So the three of them join up. And, well, actually, we find them on the outs, in a sense. They don't really get along due to a misunderstanding. And this whole trial, this whole thing that has to do with the Sanderson sisters returning, well, it kind of forces them back together. And will it change their lives? Well, you can probably bet that it does, because that's what this movie is about. It's about sisterhood. It's about kind of a loyalty. What's most important to you? Yeah, it's got a little bit of a message, but it's also... but it's not like heavy-handed. It's actually, the funny thing is that it's kind of heartfelt at the end here, and you get to see a different side of the Sanderson sisters as well, not just with our three main ladies here in this, but the Sanderson sisters, who, yes, they're the stars of the film, obviously. But still, you get to see their wacky, their silly, their gruesome, their evil side, but you do see that they care for each other despite how they treat each other a lot of the time, especially Hildy. Why can't I even say her name? Winifred. Hildy. Whatever. Yes, Sarah. Wow. Sarah plays Sarah. That's a stretch. I can never remember their names. In fact, I only saw the original Hocus Pocus in the last 2 years when I'd been doing this. I actually never saw the original back in '93. Until I started doing the everyday Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and it came up, and I'm glad I saw it, and that's came up before this. I'd probably have a reference to this movie coming out at some point when I eventually watched it. So yeah, it's if you like the original, I think you'll really love this one. It's not the kind of thing that you have to be pretty hard-hearted to go, well, that just didn't live up to my expectations. I mean, these women are the same ones. It's not like they replaced them with somebody else. You're not dealing with 2.0, the next generation, or whatever else. You're dealing with the same actresses and the same situations, the characters they know very well, and it looks like they had a good time doing this. It looks like they had a fun time. And in fact, every once in a while, I almost get the impression that one of them is about to bust up at the other one when they're doing their lines. I see Sarah Jessica Parker every so often look like she's about to break, and so yeah, there's probably bloopers somewhere online or maybe here, I don't know, but yeah, it might be worth checking out, because I think it's especially Halloween season, it's worth checking out. Have a good time, see something new with some old friends. Yeah, so grab some caramel corn and whatever else, and just grab some hot cider. I don't know, dress up, watch this on Halloween with your friends right after the original one, and just see the amount of time that's passed. And yeah, I think it might make for a good double feature. And oh, by the way, there is an after credit sequence that possibly, maybe, opens us up to a Hocus Pocus 3. Don't know. Yeah, not going to talk about the end, because the end, well, it's an ending. So it had to, they had to be stopped one way or another, because what they had planned for Salem could have destroyed everything. So they had to be stopped. So, but who stops them? How do they get stopped? Why do they get stopped? Well, you have to watch the movie. So yeah, double feature this when you get a chance. That's what I'm suggesting. That's my prescription. Yep, I'm the doctor here. All right, let's pick the first one of our new quarter that'll take us through the end of the year. Nothing new gets added except for new stuff that gets added to Disney Plus that I really want to see, like new shows and stuff, like Tales of the Jedi, that's coming up. Oh, and Werewolf by Night, that's happening next week, so I'll be watching that. That's already been selected for that day. But here, this is all random. I don't know what I'm going to get, so let's see what it picks.
252.
252. So, I don't know. So yeah, I have a list. I have color-coded by type of show, but 252. Huh. Okay, we got another movie. And it's a movie by a guy I've been reading his comics since the 80s. And this is not superhero comics, not Marvel comics, but a guy who created Bloom County and Outland and everything else. He wrote a comic called Mars Needs Moms. They made it into a very not successful movie. So, but it is on Disney Plus, and that's what I'm going to watch next. And I've actually never seen it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Mars Needs Moms on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.